This is LSAT PrepTest 135, Section 3, Passage 2. It's about archivists trying to preserve records while modern storage media keeps dying faster than old media ever did. It's a low difficulty passage, pretty clean structure, but the passage does set a trap by spending most of its time on one problem and then pivoting to a different, bigger problem at the end. Now, this is a policy-style passage. The author is building an argument that the real crisis isn't fragile media, it's the combination of fragile media and massive volume, making it impossible for archivists to sort what matters from what doesn't before it's too late. Now, the most important paragraph here is the last one. That's where the author finally tells you what they actually think. Everything before it is just getting you there. Now, paragraph 1 sets up the problem with a simple trick. It walks you backward through time. Clay tablets from Mesopotamia, they're still around. Parchment manuscripts, still fine. But books from the 1980s on acidic paper, those are already unreadable. Color photographs, you've got maybe 40 years. Videotapes, 20 years. Every example is shorter than the last. And that is the author building a pattern. The newer the medium, the faster it dies. You don't need to memorize these details, just see the pattern. It is a countdown. Once you catch it, you can move fast. Every example is doing the same job. Now, paragraph 2 is the fake solution. Computer technology looks like the answer. You can transfer everything to disks or tape, and it barely takes up space. Sounds great. But then you want to watch what happens next. The author spends the rest of the paragraph tearing it apart. Each new generation of technology makes the last one useless. Optical discs from the 1990s, already unreadable. Digital storage tape, safe for maybe 10 years. So the fix has the same disease as the problem. And then right near the end, you get this moment where even the archivists who see the issue are running out of time. That is the author tightening the screws. So this paragraph should change your read of the whole passage. It's not heading toward a solution, it is closing the exits. Now, paragraph 3 is where the author stops describing the problem and starts telling you what it actually means. New storage technologies might show up fine, but that just hands archivists a new burden. They've got to choose what to save and what to let go. And they've got to do it fast because conventional media is already crumbling. Now the author drops in Homer, Virgil, and Plato. Homer and Virgil survived because people kept making copies on purpose. Plato's works were lost for centuries and only showed up by accident in monasteries. And that contrast is doing real structural work. It's showing you that preservation has always been a mix of luck and deliberate effort. And then the author delivers the actual point in the final 2 sentences. You want to slow way down here. The danger isn't that some masterpiece disappears. It's that the sheer volume of records on bad media will make it virtually impossible to sort the essential from the disposable in time. And that word virtually matters. The author isn't saying it's hopeless. They're saying the scale of the problem is what makes it different from anything before. Now, the key move here is the pivot from durability to decision-making. And the whole passage looks like it's about fragile media, and it is for 2 paragraphs, but the author's actual concern shows up late. It's about what happens when you combine fragile media with an overwhelming amount of information. The problem stops being physical and becomes logistical. Now, the author's tone is worried but measured. They're not panicking here. They're laying out a structural problem and saying it's getting worse. The main trap here is any answer that stops at durability. If a main point answer says modern media is less durable than older media, that's true, but also incomplete. The passage builds past that. The right answer will connect fragility to volume and land on the sorting problem. You want to watch out for wrong answers that sound right because they cover paragraph 1 really well, but ignore paragraph 3. Before you hit the questions, you want to make sure you're clear on these 3 things. First, why does the author list so many types of media in paragraph 1? It's not to teach you history, it's to show a trend. Second, what job do Homer and Plato do in paragraph 3? They show that preservation has always required active choices. And third, what exactly is the danger in that final sentence? It's being buried under too much stuff to save the right things in time.